It's another Blue Jackets game day. It's another chance for them to let us down as they get ready to play the Coyotes tonight. We'll talk about why they might not let us down today on Locked On Blue Jackets.
You're Locked On Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Hayden Houshorn. Back with me later will be my co-host, Jay Foster. We are here to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of your favorite team and ours, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Before you go in, thank you to making this your first listen every day. For those that do, if you're not already one of our everydayers, make sure you subscribe to Locked On Blue Jackets. We're available on all podcast platforms. We're available right here on YouTube. You can see me just probably struggling through this one. I'm battling a little bit of a cold. So so are the Blue Jackets, hopefully, because if this is them playing at, feeling good, feeling healthy, then I'm not excited to see what happens if they do start to catch something. But I'm going to be sniffling through this one, to say the least. I got to tell you that this episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $20 off your first purchase. Pretty good app there for anybody that wants to buy tickets to any sort of event this winter, concert, show, NHL hockey game. And you can buy a ticket tonight to watch the Blue Jackets. Maybe beat the Coyotes. Maybe beat the Coyotes. I don't know. Come on. They almost beat the Penguins the other night. Jeez, it almost happened. At some point, you think they're going to sneak up on one of these teams and beat them, but it hasn't been the case. They haven't been getting the result that the fans have been wanting. It's not been what we all thought it could be. It's not surprising that it went this bad this quickly for Columbus at this point of the season. For those that might be for some reason new here, the Blue Jackets have just one win in the last 11 games. They are 4-8-4. Yeah, at one point this year, they were 3-2. They were looking like, okay, maybe this team can start to hang against the rest of the NHL. And I feel like that's still the case. As I said a few episodes ago, Blue Jackets they're a fun team to watch. They score. They're always good for 2 or 3 goals a game right now, and it's usually enough to keep them in games all the way until the third period. But at just some points in the third period, there's a bad goal that happens for the other team. Great moments happen for other teams against the Blue Jackets. It's never the Blue Jackets, in the last final minutes of the third period having the goal that takes all the momentum and secures the win. They're always giving up the goal, and they're giving up more because also the empty net or two that's usually coming later in games. That's just what happens. And now the Blue Jackets have also given up 5 goals in their last 4 games. Or no, they've given up at least 5 goals in 4 of their last 5 games. So they've been giving up a lot of goals recently and just not finding consistent scoring across the board from all their players. So they're getting consistent scoring from, random guys like Sean Corrali, and Alexander Texier is finding a nice streak of just getting points as well now too. And Kirill Marchenko is starting to score goals. So some things are going right for Columbus. Igor Chinakhov had a nice goal. That was good to see. Adam Fantilli has had a couple goals in the last few games. So it's starting to bubble up, but it's also like if the Blue Jackets aren't going to start to get results, when are they going to start to get results? Because this is supposed to be, granted, one of their more hectic months. I'm talking about the month of November where they play a lot of games. It's also supposed to be one of their lighter months. They're supposed to play most of their road games on the eastern side of the country. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's a good time for Columbus to get a win tonight against a team like the Arizona Coyotes. I'm choosing to be positive. It's not going to be easy. The Coyotes are well coached by a guy, Andre Tourigny, who is been the coach of the team for the last 3 seasons now. This is his 3rd season with the Yotes, and he's got them competitive. They're hanging in the Central Division. I'm not going to lie. When I was looking at the standings, I was pretty happy to see where the Yotes are at. They are, through 15 games played, 7 wins, 6 losses, 2 overtime losses. That's good for 5th right now in the Central. So, not bad for the Coyotes. They're still better than the Wild, Blackhawks, and Predators, which make out the rest of the Central. And, I'm kind of jealous of that. The Columbus Blue Jackets are above nobody right now. You look at the Eastern Conference, and they sit, 8 of 8 here in the Metropolitan Division. Just 4-8-4, 12 points on the year, a point behind the Islanders, 2 points behind the Flyers. It's the Penguins who are red hot right now, though. 8-6-0. They've won 5 in a row. I was talking to one of my buddies who, before the game, I was like, he's like, we can win this one tonight. And I was like, yeah, but the Penguins are good. He's like, they're not good. And I'm like, they weren't good, but now they're rolling. They've won like 4 or 5 in a row. And it just feels like it can happen just like that, where a team just catches a little fire. It's never the Blue Jackets that are that team, of course. But you got to tip your hat to guys like Sidney Crosby. You got to tip your hat to guys like Evgeny Malkin and Chris Letang and Erik Karlsson, who made the move over to Pittsburgh. And it's just been awesome. I thought the Blue Jackets actually shut him down a fair amount last night. Jake Gensel, long pencil Gensel, he struck again. He was tough. Tristan Jarry, the Blue Jackets scored on him a couple times, but for the most part, he held pretty strong in the moments he needed to. I actually thought, and just going back to the other goaltender who played in this one, I actually thought Elvis had a pretty good game. It feels like Elvis is having, and I don't want to say I don't want to give him too much credit. He needs to, at some point this year, find a way to steal a win. And I don't know when it's going to happen for him. I guess like a game like the Coyotes. I mean, I'm just going to say that this whole episode and just hope that they get the idea that it's a good idea to try to beat the Coyotes tonight. I mean, so that was just a terrible joke. But Elvis is playing good against good teams. He's playing good enough for the Blue Jackets to win. He's putting his team in situations in the third period to win games, and they're not getting the goals. They're not playing the best defense. They're not playing the better defense. I actually feel like the Blue Jackets at times are playing pretty good defense. And these guys that they invested in, like Provorov and Severson and Erica Branson, like all these guys who the fans definitely doubted would be able to pitch in, they are pitching in. And some guys are having bad nights and other guys are stepping up. It's just the puck luck isn't there for Columbus, it feels like. Like if you just look at their last few results, they've scored at least 3 goals in their last 3 games. That's pretty good for this team, considering where they were at just a couple weeks ago when they got shut out 2 straight games at home, or like in a stretch there. They got in two of 3 games at home. The Blue Jackets got shut out twice. So I will take where Columbus is at over where they were at earlier this season. They just need to get a result. They need to get a win. And as I will remain for the rest of this episode, the Blue Jackets have a great chance to get a win tonight. Before I keep going on about that, though, I need to tell you guys about Game Time, and I'll do that next here on Locked On Blue Jackets. Game Time is a great place for those who often worry about where they're going to buy their tickets. They stress about that. Like, what is the best place to do it? Game Time is a very trustworthy app, that is a fast and easy way to buy tickets for all your sports games, all your music shows, your comedy shows, theater events. It has killer last-minute deals, all in prices. Even when you're scrolling on the app, it gives you views from your seat right away, along with an option to click list and see like the best pricing, low to high or high to low. If you're one of those ballers like me, not really. But Game Time is a great place, again, to buy tickets. You get great deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, even an hour and after the event starts. With zone deals, you pick a section. Game Time picks the seats for an average of 18% savings. So you just pick the section. They'll pick the seats. You can take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, opportunity for Columbus to turn things around. They have one win in their last 11 games. It is bad. It is not good, but I'm going to choose to be positive and say the Blue Jackets have been a fun team to watch right now. And it honestly is. Like, listen, it's gut check time. It is gut check time for us as fans here. Are we going to continue to watch this team through the bad? Because I think they have a lot of pieces that are going to be huge parts of their of the franchise. I think Kirill Marchenko. I think David Jiricek. I think Adam Fantilli, obviously. I look around. I think Alexander Texier has a long-term future here. Patrick Laine, Johnny Gaudreau. We're locked in for a few more years with those guys. You look around and they are stable places to build a Stanley Cup winning team around. Where can if the Blue Jackets can just fill in the gaps in the other areas and just get decent play, or at least consistent play, because I think they are getting decent play. I think the Blue Jackets are setting themselves up right in games to get wins. They're just not getting the deal done. And they play an Arizona Coyotes team tonight who is starting to get a little hot. They've started to get some more wins from their goaltender. His name is escaping me. For some reason, I want to say it's Connor Ingram. And they've gone with another guy more often than not this year. But their new guy, Connor Ingram, is a solid goaltender. I believe he started with the Tampa Bay Lightning. He was actually drafted by Tampa Bay in 2016. He spent some time with the Predators organization, and now here he is with the Yotes at 26 years old. This is their better goalie. He has better stats than their other dude, who, again, I'm sorry, his name is also escaping me. You'd think I would be well prepared and have, rosters up by now, but that's just not the case with a guy like me. I like to do things on the fly. I actually just don't really like to think about the Blue Jackets when they do things like give up a third period lead to the Penguins, but that's neither here nor there. They can turn things around tonight against this Coyotes team, and it doesn't matter whether they're playing Connor Ingram or Karel Vejmelka tonight. If Karel Vejmelka is a guy very similar to Elvis, I feel like he's going to put the Coyotes in chances to win games, but he's definitely beatable. I think, as Jay pointed out in the preview episode of the Blue Jackets and Penguins game, that Tristan Jarry was a goalie also like that. Not to, again, go back on this last Blue Jackets game. But tonight, whether it's Connor Ingram or Karel Vejmelka, I'll feel better if it's Karel Vejmelka because he's been playing slightly worse this year. He has a 3.08 goals against average, .906 save percentage, whereas Connor Ingram, the dude who was drafted by Tampa in 2016, he has a 2.88 goals against average and a .911 save percentage. So if the Blue Jackets play Karel Vejmelka, I feel a lot better. If they play Connor Ingram, I'm not going to be feeling as good. But either way, don't be surprised if the Arizona Coyotes win this game 4-3 or something like that, because they have great players. I always butcher his name for some reason. It's late, scary hours right now. Scary hours right now here at Locked On Blue Jackets. But Clayton Keller is one of the better right wingers in this league, and he's not even top 20 paid winger, and he's a point-a-game guy. He's been that way for 8 seasons with the Coyotes. And he's only 25 years old, which is crazy. He's been the best thing for the Arizona Coyotes. He's been honestly exactly what that organization has needed to just give the fans something to root for. And I bet there are a lot of people that continue to follow the Coyotes just for a guy like Clayton Keller because he's worth it. He's a tremendous player, and he's only getting better. So he's going to be a tough player. Nick Schmaltz is their top center right now. He's going to be an issue because he's a lot what I think Adam Fantilli is right now, honestly. I think it's if you could swap those players for each other tomorrow night, like they could just trade jerseys, pickup game style, And the teams really wouldn't be that different because Nick Schmaltz likes to drive offense for teams. I don't really know how good he is as far as just possession in the zone, but if he's anything like Adam Fantilli with the way, be it that, Schmaltz is good at driving the offense just like Fantilli, I assume that Schmaltz is also very good possession numbers when he's carrying in the offensive zone for the Coyotes. He's going to be a dangerous player as well. You got to also watch out for him. So, and then Logan Cooley, who dazzled everybody this year when they played in the exhibition game against the Kings down in Australia, and he really got the NHL on a hot start with that highlight, with that goal where he was just deking Kings on his way to what has been a really good rookie season for him, right? Or has he been playing a couple of years now? I know they're a team that's just built on American dudes, and you got to tip your hat to them because teams like that are always fun. And Logan Cooley, 19-year-old dude from Pittsburgh, he's just been this is his first year with Arizona. It's his rookie season, and he has 11 points in 15 games. Only one goal though, and 10 apples. So he's maybe Johnny Gaudreau and him should take a goal scoring lesson from Alex Ovechkin, because he is the greatest goal scorer of all time, and maybe he could teach those guys something about scoring goals, because I bet both of these teams would be like, hey, Johnny Gaudreau, it'd be a great time for you to start scoring right now. He's playing good. Like I don't want to criticize his play at all. I remember through 10 games at one point this season, he was the team leader in shots. So he's putting pucks on net. You can't really blame him. At some point, it's just going to start to go. But until it does, hey, you keep shooting, I guess. Just keep shooting, because I trust you, Johnny Gaudreau. You changed this franchise when you decided to come here. I don't know if you changed it for the better yet, but I'm having fun, guys. Don't get me wrong. I'm having fun. As I've said, though, scary hours for Locked On Blue Jackets right now. It is not the time to hop off the bandwagon, by the way. I want to say that, listen, it's as much as I want to sit here and start to look up 2024 NHL mock drafts, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to hang in for this year, because one win in the last 11 games, right, guys? Like this streak has been abysmal. It's just at some point we're going to hit that breaking point. I bet it's going to be sooner rather than later. Like maybe even before the end of November, we're already talking lottery, because that would be an atrocious streak. Like they would have to lose, because we're halfway through the month, guys. We're halfway through the month of November. And if the Blue Jackets just continue to lose out, we might be talking lottery for this team. I don't want to, but as far as games right now, they matter. It still feels like they matter. Any team can make the playoffs right now. We just gotta hope that maybe something starts to go Columbus's way. And we'll talk about a game prediction later for this one next on Locked On Blue Jackets. Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, it's a great time, because, listen, things aren't looking so good for the Browns. They just lost Deshaun Watson for the year due to a season-ending injury. The Cincinnati Bengals, who are kind of suffering from their slow start to the season, they've fallen behind the 8 ball, and people are expecting them to win the Super Bowl right now because they have that much talent down there, and they're only 5-4. So they need to start winning some games. It's not looking good for the Ohio teams. So coming up soon, there'll probably be some underdogs in these money lines. You might want to bet. You might want to put some money on these Ohio teams, because they can give you some good value. It's an easy app to use if you use it on FanDuel, by the way. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL. All right, time to give a quick prediction for this Blue Jackets and Coyotes matchup, because as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, I am just trying to get as many allergy medicine in me, as much Benadryl in me as possible, as much NyQuil, because I need to start feeling better. I don't feel great right now. So thank you for bearing with me through this one. Mostly it's the Blue Jackets that are making me feel this way, as they are you, the fan. I mean, it's been a tough season for Columbus. They've just dropped so many games, especially at home, too. Like that 5-2 loss against the Stars earlier this month, I felt like was a chance for them to get a win, and they blew that one. Here they are against the Coyotes tonight. Adam Fantilli, Johnny Gaudreau, Patrick Laine. Which one of them is it going to be? It needs to be somebody on this team. Heck, maybe it needs to be Zach Werenski, because he's another guy, just like Johnny Gaudreau. I think he only has one goal this year, and it's on an empty netter. So where has he been at? I think him and Severson, while they have looked good at times, have also looked bad. So there's still some questions to be made in the defense. Like, is Erik Gudbranson going to still be the best puck blocker? Is he still going to be the best passer for the defense core? I don't know. It's starting to look like that. It's starting to look like he is the guy for that unit right now, which he shouldn't be. You feel like there's a better talent there, but again, all credit to Erik Gudbranson. He's been the best player for Columbus. He's been one of the better players to watch this year. He's been in my top 5 of favorite players to watch. I have to also say Dmitry Voronkov as well. Every single episode, I feel like I have to mention that Dmitry Voronkov has been very fun to watch. Igor Chinakhov, if we're speaking about the Russians, Igor Chinakhov has been fun to watch. So is it good? It needs to be one of those guys. So I'm just Alexander Texier, Boone Jenner. I can go around the whole list. I am going to take Adam Fantilli to score against the Coyotes tonight. He found ways to score in the Red Wings and Rangers game. I feel like he's been hitting a breakthrough here. He's coming up on a breakthrough, and it's still early in his rookie season, and he's starting to play very confidently, and I think it's going to pay off for Columbus. I'm just going to choose to believe that, because they need to get a win against the Coyotes before they go play the Capitals and the Flyers on the road. Those are going to be 2 tough Metro games. So if they can beat the Coyotes, they can go into those games later this week, which are Saturday, Sunday, to get some momentum and maybe make this thing interesting and make this season last a little longer, because I don't want to start thinking about the 2024 NHL mock draft yet. I opened up a new tab. I was about to Google it. I'm not going to Google it for you guys. You can do that on your own. But just know, if you do that, you are giving up on them this season. Officially. You are officially hopping off the wagon. And they've not really even been a wagon this year. They've been a small cart. You're hopping off the small cart. I don't want to see that. Stay on the cart. Don't Google 2024 NHL mock draft, because we're not going to start thinking lottery right now. They are playing good hockey, I feel like. They're playing proper hockey, I should say, as they would say in England, where my co-host is at right now, sleeping, because because that's what I'm going to be doing as soon as I get off. As soon as I get off this episode, that is the first thing I'm doing. I bet you guys should be doing it too, because this Blue Jackets team has been just not fun to watch. Not fun to watch, I guess, in the end of games. I will say that. The first 50 minutes of the hockey game have been good. They've been fun. They've been keeping me invested. It's the last 10 minutes, last 5 minutes of the game that have been, why can't this team win? Why can't this team do something right for once in the final 5 minutes of a game? It just is so frustrating. I felt like them getting that third goal the other night, by the way, to make it 3-3 against the Penguins was going to be like the goal that gets the whole thing rolling for them. That was not it at all. So very frustrating there. Maybe it's Adam Fantilli who scores the first one tonight in a 4-2 Blue Jackets win against the Arizona Coyotes. Thank you, everybody, to making this your first listen every single day. Locked On Blue Jackets will continue to be free and available on all podcast platforms. Tomorrow's episode will be a breakdown of the Coyotes game. Hopefully, we're talking about a win. And if not, I might honestly pull up 2024 NHL mock draft, depending on how bad of a loss it is for Columbus, if it is indeed a loss. Again, I'm taking 4-2 win for Columbus and an Adam Fantilli goal. You can find me on Twitter at HaydenH971. Jay is on there at _JAKOBFORSTER. The show is on there at LO_Blue Jackets. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please direct those to lockedonbluejackets@gmail.com. Thank you once again for listening, and until tomorrow, make sure you stay locked on.